Rick Ritter joins us in the studio now, along with white-collar defense attorney Adam Ruther.
He's giving us some more insight onto the situation. Hey, Rick.
Nicole, Lynn, thank you. Adam, reports indicate the mayor will be resigning, something we've asked you for a while now. Has she gained anything by waiting this long if this happens?
Well, we don't know, obviously, the real reasons that she's waited this long to make this decision. Obviously, it's a very big decision from which there's no coming back. So on a personal level, I'm sure it was a very difficult decision for her. And if we listen to her attorney, Steve Silverman, about how that process has gone, her health may have also factored into her ability to make that decision. But she hasn't really lost anything by waiting this long. She certainly still had the ability later on to say, you know, as soon as I was well enough to make the decision, I did the thing that I thought was right for Baltimore City.
Something else that we chatted about, too. If she happened to wait longer, how could that impact her?
So if the case were to proceed, and these are big ifs, if the case were to proceed farther, and if she ever ended up in front of a judge having to make an argument as to why she should get one sentence or another, it may be something that she would want to be able to say is, look, as soon as I realized the position I was in, I did what I thought was best for Baltimore City, and I took my problems out of the public sphere as quickly as I could. Sometimes in public corruption cases, if that's what this turns out being, that's a compelling argument to make to a judge, that I put my position ahead of my self-interest.
We know FBI raid, we know IRS raid. What charges could she potentially be facing here?
So based on the scope of the investigation in terms of who's involved, we could be looking at tax charges, failure to file properly, failure to report the income, failure to pay the proper amount of taxes. We could also be looking at potential public corruption charges, things like public official bribery or honest services fraud, those sorts of things where a public official did something on an official capacity in exchange for amounts of money paid to them, for example, like money paid to buy the books.
And how about the timeline of all this? We could still be pretty far off here from seeing this entire thing wrap up.
We could. Reports seem to indicate this investigation may have been ongoing already for a year, and it's not unusual at all for federal investigations to last multiple years as investigators go through the process of collecting evidence, reviewing the evidence, taking next steps, and interviewing witnesses, going through the grand jury process. We could be looking at quite a bit more in terms of a timeline before a charging decision is made, and we have no way of knowing how long that's going to be.
Adam, great insight as always. We'll check back in with you in a little bit. Let's send it over to Lynn and Nicole.